Tiki Bar. I hope you like little tiny chicken Parmesan appetizers, because that's what you're getting on Appies with Chappy by the lake. Also, I'm going to make a Daisy de Santiago. We got best tropical destination stories. We got Pu Pu Platter Pizza. And I am going to make a Blame It on Rio Cocktail, coming right up on Chappy's Tiki Bar. Aloha! Welcome to Chappy's Tiki Bar. I'm Chappy. This is my bar. With me as always is Mookie. Mookie has her brand new Hawaiian shirt on. She's very excited about that. So we got a great episode coming up. I'm going to do a Pu Pu Platter Pizza. What's that, Mookie? Mookie wants to know if that means she can poo-poo on my pizza. No, that's not what that means, Mookie. And we got Appies with Chappy by the lake. I came up with a way to do little tiny miniature chicken parms as an appetizer. I'll give you a hint. I use chicken McNuggets. But I came up with that all by myself. But first up, we're going to do best tropical destination stories. Now, if you have any tropical destination stories that you'd like to send me, I'll read them on my show. Just send them to chappiness@yahoo.com. So we'll get Mookie to go summon the tiki drums, and I'll begin best tropical destination story. All right. Go, Mooks. No, the tiki drums. No, hit the tiki drums. Mookie, come on. All right, she got distracted. So anyways, for best tropical destination story this week, so nobody sent anything in, so I'll do another one of my cruise ship stories. So if you don't know, I've worked on cruise ships for 8 years. I did 13 contracts. And if you've ever been a crew member on a cruise ship, you know you live in these tiny, tight quarters, and you always share a cabin with bunk beds. In the 8 years, I probably lived with over 100 people and worked with thousands of people from all over the world, really. And now, having said that, I've probably know hundreds of people that have been fired from the cruise ship for one reason or another. So I composed a list. So this is sort of a bonus, my top 5 firing stories. So this is people I knew that got fired while working on the cruise ship. And I'll just do a really quick top 5 list. I have Selena from Australia. So this was actually a Christmas New Year's cruise. But anyways, it was her 21st birthday on New Year's. She was New Year's Day baby. Now, New Year's Eve is crazy busy. We were working in the casino. She worked in the casino. I worked in the casino. But the manager, because it was her 21st birthday, he gave her the night off. Now we were at sea on New Year's Eve. So probably the sensible thing to do would be to go down to the crew bar and wait till her friends got off work and celebrate that way. But she chose to go to the passenger disco, which we were technically allowed, but there's a lot of restrictions. You're not supposed to dance. You're not supposed to sit at the bar. So anyways, she goes to the passenger disco for New Year's Eve to celebrate her 21st birthday. Only person in the entire ship that got the night off. So she ends up getting just blackout drunk. So she got so drunk, she just passed out in the passenger disco. They had to have like a medical emergency and have the doctor go up, and then she I don't know if she got her stomach pumped or what, but anyways, I'm finished my shift at 3 a.m. and I see Selena being wheeled in a wheelchair, this 21-year-old girl. The guy pushing her is this little Indonesian security guard, probably like 5'6", 120 pounds, and he's pushing her, this 21-year-old girl, in a wheelchair, and she's just still smiling and having the time of her life. And I go to her, Selena, so I see you had a really good birthday. And then she just barely opened her eyes and looked back at the security guard and reached over her shoulder and grabbed his crotch. So the next day she was actually fired. So that is story number one. Story number two, I call it the Romanian Pro. So if you work on the cruise ships, they basically, back then, I don't know how they do it now, but they paid you in cash. You got US dollars every week. And of course, most people on the ships work for tips. And then we had our own crew purser. So it was like a hotel desk for the staff on the ship. So you go to the crew purser and you could rent like a deposit box or store your money at the crew purser's desk, and they could actually send the money home for you as like a sort of a service. So a lot of like hardworking crew members, they would send all their money home and they'd send it through the crew purser's desk. So there was this little Romanian girl, good-looking girl. She was a bar waitress, and apparently once a week she would make a deposit at a crew purser's desk and have them send money home. Only she was sending about $10,000 a week home. So obviously they kind of thought something was up, looked into it. Apparently she was hooking, but mostly with staff members. So she was had a little side business going on, and she was making about 10 gur a week until they figured it out. But she should have probably just got off in Miami and wired the money or something. So that's story number two. Oh, story number three is my old cabin mate Richard from England. He was a slots technician, so he did the maintenance on the slot machines in the casino. Never really got along with his boss. Something happened. I don't know the story there, but he got fired. And basically they told him he was fired and he'd be getting off in Miami and they would fly him home. He somehow got into his manager's cabin, and the doors to the cabin are all watertight, so they're very heavy doors and they seal shut. So Richard kind of helped out the sealing process by crazy gluing the manager's door shut. So I guess that was his revenge, and it took probably 4 or 5 hours for them to figure out how to unhinge this watertight door that was crazy glued shut. So that was story number three. Story number four is the Cayman Islands. I worked with a couple again in the casino. Really nice couple. I think she was British and he was Spanish. Great couple, only they get in these horrible fights and they would kick the shit out of each other. Mostly the woman hitting the man, and they'd come to work all beaten and bruised. I think they got several written warnings, and then one night they had a giant blowout and they both got fired. Now, here's the crappy part. I was working for Carnival Cruise Line at the time. Now, the cruise line is required by law. You just can't fire somebody from another country and dump them off in Miami. U.S. Customs would have something to say about that. You just can't leave somebody stranded in the United States. The U.S. Customs would not allow that. The U.S. Customs would tell the cruise line they're required to pay for their flight home. So what Carnival Cruise Lines did, the end of the cruise was in Miami. That's where everybody gets off. That's where, if you get fired, that's where you get off the ship to go home. Only we had a stop in the Cayman Islands. Now, the Cayman Islands is a British colony. So they actually dumped this poor girl from England off at the Cayman Islands and said, okay, this is Britain. If you want to find your way back to England, that's your problem. You have to pay for your flight. So that was kind of crummy on Carnival Cruise Line's part. I do have a lot of stories where they exploit people, and basically because they're in international waters, they can get away with a lot of crap. And actually, unbeknownst to me, I was a part of a class action lawsuit against them. I just got this letter in the mail, and they said for years they were charging me for insurance, but due to international law, they had to provide insurance for all their crew members when they're at sea. You can't charge somebody to insure them because they have to be insured by law. So somebody did a class action lawsuit against them. I got a letter from Carnival Cruise Lines. They said, well, we'll give you $1,000 or you can pursue your own lawsuit. So I took the $1,000 payout. I didn't even know. To be honest, I didn't even notice they were taking money off of my wages. And finally, number 5. This is another friend of mine. He was a dancer on the cruise ship. So the thing you got to understand, there's different class systems when you work on a cruise ship. So I was in the casino, so I was kind of in the middle. Like Selena, I was allowed to go to the passenger disco. I was allowed to eat at the passenger buffet. But there's a lot of things I couldn't do. Now, the entertainers are one step above. They stay in the passenger cabin. They get all the passenger amenities. So they're a little higher on the class system. And to be honest, like if you're in the crew mess, like they're all performers, so they're all loud. They all think if they're at a table on the other side of the crew mess that the whole mess wants to hear their little story or listen to them entertain everyone. Which is usually not the case when you're working 12 hours and you just want to grab a quick meal. So anyway, but this guy was a friend of mine. He was actually from Edmonton, and he was a dancer on the show on the ship. So anyways, he was done his contract. Everything was going great. We got really drunk the night before. So as a crew member, if you're disembarking the ship and your contract's over, you have to clear customs. So the night before, he got super wasted, slept through clearing customs. So customs came a knocking on his door. Now, a lot of people don't know this. If you refuse to leave an international vessel, it's actually a federal offense. It's like a form of terrorism if you and you don't want to mess around with customs. So anyways, customs is already annoyed with him because they were waiting for him. He didn't show up. So they knocked on his cabin door, and he told him to F off. So basically, as you could probably guess, customs didn't take too kindly to that. So they actually not only handcuffed him, they shackled his feet and carried him off and escorted him to the airport. And of course, he was fired from doing any further contracts with, I believe that was Norwegian Cruise Line. So that's my top 5 firing stories on the cruise ship. And again, if you have any tropical destination stories, please send them to me. Send them to chappy@yahoo.com. All right, so coming up next, we're going to have Appies with Chappy by the lake. And I'm going to do those wonderful little chicken parm appetizers. And then later on, we're going to do the Pu Pu Platter Pizza. But first, I'm going to make a drink. This drink's called Blame It on Rio. So I just have a Tiki mug. Gonna add a little ice. I'm getting this from the Bartender's Guide. Looks like there's a lot of ingredients here. First is a 1/4 ounce of vodka. I'm just gonna substitute the vodka with Everclear because why wouldn't you want some Everclear? 190 proof, 95% alcohol by volume. So just a little disclaimer, be careful with it. I have some spiced rum. Got some Captain Morgan. And that's a 1/4 ounce of spiced rum and a 1/4 ounce of Malibu. So Malibu is a coconut flavored rum. And a 1/4 ounce of Amaretto. This is sort of like an almond flavored liqueur. And a 1/4 ounce peach schnapps. I have some Dr. McGillicuddy's peach schnapps. 1/4 ounce of banana liqueur. And it says 1 1/2 ounce of pineapple juice. And it just says a splash of club soda. I'm out of club soda, so I'm just going to substitute with tonic water, but you should really use club soda. And then I had just a maraschino cherry with a flamingo as a garnish. And that's a Blame It On Rio. Coming up next, Appies with Chappy by the lake.
Appies with Chappy by the lake.
All right, welcome to another edition of Appies with Chappy by the lake. Today I'm going to do little mini chicken parmesans. So actually, I toasted off some chicken nuggets. The instructions were 450 for like 10 minutes. I just kind of cooked them halfway through so they don't get soggy when I put the pizza sauce on. Some mozzarella cheese and a little bit of Parmesan I'm going to shave on there. So we're going to pop those back in the oven once I get them all dressed up. And I think today we're going to make a Daisy de Santiago, which is a Cuban drink. So get started on my Daisy de Santiago. So I got my cocktail shaker, a little ice, 1 ounce of fresh lime juice, 1 1/2 teaspoon of Demerara syrup. It's just a regular simple syrup with Demerara sugar, made myself, and then a 1/2 ounce of chartreuse, 1 1/2 ounce of blended lightly aged rum. So I have some Cuban rum for my Cuban drink. It's Havana Club Añejo. Give it a shake. Into the glass. I got a little room because I'm going to top it with club soda. And then I got a nice strawberry garnish. And that's a Daisy de Santiago to go with my mini chicken parms. I'll get the mini chicken parms in the oven and we'll get started on Appies with Chappy by the lake. Alright, so I'm going to do a Pu Pu Platter Pizza. I have a pre-cooked thin crust pizza. And for my sauce, I'm going to go with hoisin. So hoisin's sort of just like a Chinese barbecue sauce. So basically, Pu Pu Platter Pizza is just I'm I'm going to do a pizza and I'm going to dump a bunch of Chinese food on it. So first up, I have some nice Peking duck. Peking duck goes very nicely with hoisin sauce. So I have some generous portions of duck meat. And then I have some orange chicken. The orange chicken is like the orange chicken at Panda Express, but not actually from Panda Express. And then last but not least, I have some nice char siu pork. All right, this is looking good. It might be horrible. I don't know. I've never done this before. And then I'm just going to put a little bit of mozzarella in so we can basically call it a pizza. All right, we'll get this in the oven and see what we got. All right, so here it is. This is the moment of truth. I have no idea how it's going to taste. All right, I'll just do a little piece. I'll get a little bit of duck, a little bit of orange chicken, and some pork. Here we go. Actually tastes just like dim sum. I think Pu Pu Platter Pizza is a thumbs up. Thanks for watching another edition of Chappy's Tiki Bar. Make sure you hit the subscribe button below and give me a like if you liked the video. This is Chappy saying life is hard. That's just the way it goes, but sometimes it goes the other way. See you next time on Chappy's Tiki Bar.